Hey guys, it's Jamie. A couple of you asked for a tutorial on how to resin. And so first step is I just kind of want to show you what kind of resins are out there. First being UV, and I use this Let's Resin UV resin. I'm not 100% sure I like it. I do like the fact that it's very quick in curing because you just put this under for, minute and a half and it's done. But I find that I'm getting a lot of bubbles with it, so I'm not really thrilled with the quality of it. The other type of resin is the ones that you mix, part A, part B, equal ratio. And this one I find I'm not getting any bubbles. It also on the package says no bubbles, self-leveling. So I'm liking that one a lot better. So that's the one we're going to use today. Also, that is obviously clear. So what I use is I use mica powders to make the different colors, and a little bit goes a very long way. And once we get started, I'll show you how that works. Next thing is the resin tape. This is literally just tape that sticks really well. I cut mine out in black acrylic. And what I'll do is I'll stick this on the back and just make sure it is adhered really well to the acrylic. And again, I'll show you that when we get started. I just wanted to show you all the products. I think that is it. Oh, the resin tape comes in many sizes. So if you're just doing earrings, you can use a smaller one. And there's also, a 2-inch roll. So there's plenty of sizes. 5-inch was which is this. This is the largest I've found. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so here we are. I've cut my piece of resin tape and I'm attaching it to the back of my, I'm gonna call it template for now. I'm using a squeegee, so I make sure that I get it as tight as I can and that it is sealed fairly well, very well actually. Okay, that's that. And I just do it right over the masking that's on my acrylic. All right, next step, we're gonna go ahead and mix our mica powders. Okay, so now we've got resin A and resin B, and we're gonna mix them in equal parts. I buy these little cups, they have the measurements on it, so I'll do like 1/8 and then the next B up to 1/4, so I know that it's equal. And the amount I use is kind of a guesstimate on the colors. A little goes fairly long way. I'm a little surprised at how far it goes. I just close those up. And now I'm just gonna do the body just to show you guys how it's done. So I'm gonna use a bright red mica powder. Now, mica powders, a little bit goes a very long way. So I would start with a very little bit, yes, that much. And put it in there and mix it around and see where that gets you. You can always add more, you can't take away. So clearly I need more. And for a very bright red, this almost looks more hot pink to me. So I'm gonna add more red and see if it gets deeper. It got a little deeper. So basically you're mixing it up because you're mixing up the resin A and B together. That's what's gonna, harden. the two together makes it harden. You have about 45 minutes to work with it before it gets too sticky. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start this. And I always heat my resin up to get rid of some of the bubbles that I just created by mixing it. So I'll just use my heat gun. Also, when you use your heat gun, it makes it a little looser. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little bit more liquidy and it flows better. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. And you just slowly pour it. And that's why these cups are great, because you can squeeze them. Don't pour too much. And then with your stick, spread it into those little areas. It will eventually flow in, but I like to kind of push it in there. Make sure it's in those little spots. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the tail in the same color. Now I'm a mess when it comes to this stuff, so I do get it on the top, but I'm going to be removing that because that's why I keep the masking on, and it's very simple to remove once it's all dry. Okay, so again, just keep adding until we get it mostly full. I'm not gonna fill it too much, because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to heat it again with my heat gun to get out any more of the bubbles. All right, so that's what it looks like. I'm going to continue on with the other colors, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, we're back. So I wanted to do the head and the wings a little bit different color. So rather than waste all of what I already mixed, I just added some firework red to the existing red that I had, and it made it a little bit different color. Now I'll just work it into these lines. Just a little trick, like I was showing you, I use these sticks. I use the big end, and I can literally scoop it in there and work it around. But when it's a little bit finer lines, I'll use the end stick and just ever so slightly drop it in and move it around. And so that's how I get it into the smaller spots. And again, I'm not worrying about getting it on the masking, because the masking's coming off. So that's not a concern of mine. I don't want to sit there and pour it on, but I'm not concerned if I get a little bit on it. And you just continue to work, filling in these little spots. And I'll go back once they settle in. I give them a second to try and settle in. And then on some of these, I'll come back in and fill them up a little bit more. Basically, I'll just do that until I am done. Now, if you get a little bit too much in, like I did with this one, you just wipe off your tip go into it and pull some out. It literally pulls it out, so you can just take some out if you need to, and put it into spots where you need more. And that's it. I'll continue to fill in the wing and we'll be back with the next color. All right, we're back. And so I've mixed my green. I'm gonna do the lighter first so I can do a variants of greens in the leaves. And then I'm gonna come back and add a little bit of the dark mica so I can get that two-tone effect. Now basically you just kind of pick and choose which ones you want. And just kind of add your resin. Just remember moving it around to get it in the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll come in here, I'll put it in some of the areas that I want, and then I will go back and fill it better. Also, after each color, I do use my heat gun again, just to get those bubbles out. So as it's settling and the bubbles are getting less and less, every time I use the heat gun, it helps with those bubbles as well. I'll do this one. And I'll do this one. All right, and so then I'm going to come in with a darker color and put it in the other leaves. I'm going to continue to fill these, and I'm not going to do any other colors. Basically, I'll just continue to fill it out. I think you guys, this probably gives you the basic idea of resin and how it works. I'll go ahead and complete this, and then I'll post the finished product when it's done. All right, guys, this is what it looks like once it's all filled. Now I'm just gonna let it sit here and dry for 24 hours, and you will see the finished product in the listing. Good morning, guys. So as you can see, the resin has cured and it is done. I took off all the masking, so now you can see those black lines, and I think it looks amazing. With resin, there's definitely a front and a back to it. The back side is definitely a lot smoother, not nearly as shiny, but either way, both sides look amazing. And I will show you, I don't know if you can see, but look at how pretty that looks. I think it looks awesome. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.